Hi, I'm Johnny. This is Johnny Likes, the show where I talk about movies that I like. Today I'm talking about a monster movie from the late 90s. Today Johnny likes Deep Rising.
You tell him, Johnny. You tell the world.
Deep Rising starts out during a dark and stormy night on the high seas as we meet our small but intrepid crew of sailors. At the helm we have the roguish captain, John Finnegan. And under Finnegan's command we have the smartass engineer, Joey Panucci, and his onboard girlfriend and grease monkey mechanic extraordinaire, Layla, who I don't think ever gets a last name in the movie. And that's the small but dedicated crew. These folks have been hired to transport a bunch of rough and tumble, high on testosterone, low on impulse control mercenaries led by Wes Studi. These guys all have names, but they don't matter. They all get one character trait and roll with it, and they're mostly here just to up the body count. So why are these guys headed to seemingly the middle of nowhere in the South Pacific? It's so these meatheads can rob a cruise ship. It's not any old cruise ship though. It's a pleasure ship on its maiden voyage aimed at high rollers, dubbed the Argonautica. Once our crew and the mercenaries finally make it to the Argonautica, they meet Trillian St. James, a sexy thief who has been caught red-handed and sent to the makeshift brig for the night, aka the kitchen walk-in cooler. John Canton is the Argonautica's architect along for the maiden voyage, who by now is really starting to lose his cool. And last but not least, the grizzled Captain Atherton, who is the ship's captain. They're the only survivors after an unfortunate incident involving a kraken-like sea monster that had its way with the ship and really messed up everyone's day. Now it's up to our crews to learn how to work together in order to survive the deadly beast and possibly get to safety. This is the movie that writer-director Stephen Sommers did before the 1999 cinematic masterpiece known as The Mummy. And it seems like he learned a lot from his experience on this film going into that one. In a lot of ways, it feels like it's a trial run for The Mummy, because all of the elements that made The Mummy great are here in some form, which is what makes Deep Rising work for me. It has swashbuckling leads, both male and female.
Who the hell are you?
Who the hell are you?
I think she broke my nose.
Yeah, give me a chance to break the rest of your face. Not that anyone would notice.
A big old monster.
Oh, shit!
Big over-the-top special effects and action.
Hang on!
Big over-the-top violence and gore. Kevin J. O'Connor.
What the hell is that? Girl from Ipanema.
It may have all that, but that doesn't change that it's just a thinly veiled Aliens ripoff. But if you're gonna steal, you may as well steal from the best. And I don't mind seeing heavily armed dudes and dudettes go up against a monster in a hostile environment. It's a good trope, and there's lots of room for innovation and variation there. But this movie doesn't really innovate all that much. Squid monster on a boat? Not that much of a stretch of the imagination from an alien on a spaceship. Now don't get me wrong, I enjoy this setup very much, and I don't really get tired of it, even though I've seen it many times, even in stuff like Leprechaun in Space. It's still fun. I'm just pointing out that this movie isn't up there on the originality scale. Harrison Ford was originally cast in Treat Williams' role, but backed out. This makes a lot of sense to me, as the Finnegan character is basically Han Solo, so why wouldn't you get Han Solo? Now, I'm not super familiar with Williams as an actor, but from what I can gather, he was on the verge of becoming a big star a few times in his career, but just never quite got there. It just never quite came together for him, for whatever reason. And in this, he just feels a little bit forced as Finnegan, and the movie kind of suffers for it. It's not a very well-written part in his defense, but I can see Ford making it work a bit better. It also didn't help that Williams had zero chemistry with Famke Janssen.
That heap of junk is your boat?
You got a better one?
Incidentally, Famke Janssen was brought in a week into filming after Claire Forlani dropped out due to creative differences with Stephen Sommers. Unlike Williams, though, I think that Famke Janssen is actually perfect for the part and nails the role. This was supposed to be the movie that heralded in a new era of big monster movies. It would have been the first big studio monster movie in ages. But it hit a little bit of a snag when it got caught in post-production hell, when they couldn't figure out how to get the special effects right, the CG effects, and it took nearly a year longer than they planned. And so instead of getting released in May of 97, it got pushed back all the way to January of 98. January release, never a good sign, but also by that point, Anaconda had come out, The Mimic had come out, The Relic had come out. So instead of rejuvenating the Nature Gone Wild monster movie, it ended up riding in on these movies' coattails. In slasher terms, it was urban legends instead of Scream. With that being said, even if it had been the first out, I don't think it would have been a big smash hit. It's just not that good of a movie, frankly. It might have been a minor hit, maybe, but major blockbuster, I don't think so. Especially considering the amount of gore in this movie. There are half-eaten and digested people all over the place, and they're quite slimy and bloody, and that doesn't usually result in big box office numbers. I like the mashup of genres and action movie tropes in this. Heist, sea monster, survival horror, pirates, sarcastic leads. It's all here. The problem is that it's always just a little bit clunky. And the only thing that was kind of new was the cephalopod-ish monster. So Deep Rising had the potential to be great, but it just doesn't quite get there. And it's going to get a 3.25 out of 5 for me. Now, I still watch this movie all the time, despite my kind of mediocre rating. It's kind of a great default movie for me. I put it on and then go do chores. I don't fully focus in, I can come and go. It's one of those type of movies. Yeah, those are my thoughts on Deep Rising. You can leave yours in the comments. While you're here, you want to subscribe, want to like, that'd be great. It's quick, free, relatively painless. Helps me out. Thanks for watching me talk about movies for a little while, and you can tune in next time to see what else Johnny likes.